Yo, hip hop heist, man. What up? We back at it with another reaction. 50 Cent and Remy Ma reacts to Rick Ross Cease and Desist for biggest boss movie on her new on her network. Let's get to it. It's Hip Hop Heist TV.
Hey boy, Ricky Rose, we need you to come to the front of the congregation, my brother. We gotta have a word with you. Looks like the biggest boss, Ricky Rose, is now sending out the biggest cease and desist for a movie that he's claiming closely portrays his own life. That's right, you guys. If you guys don't know, Remy Ma has her own network where she's actually working on putting out movies and shows. Now, back in November of last year, Remy announced the network. It was going to be called the Remy Ma Network, and it was going to be an advertisement-free streaming platform. According to Remy Ma, it's an app that's going to have films, documentaries, rap battles, music specials, sports content, and so much more. She actually recently just announced that she was going to have her own talk show on the network.
I got my own TV show, and it's gonna be on the Remy Network. Yep, I got my own talk show coming to the Remy Network, and yeah, you guys will be able to sit here and see me in all my glory, delivering the news and the gossip and different type of things that we can make and things that you need just to make your life a greater and better place. It'll be brought to you by the Remy Network, featuring Reminisce, me, Real Talk with Reminisce. Or should I call it Real Talk with Remy? Or should I just call it Reminisce? I don't know.
Now, from what it looks like, and I could be wrong, I don't think she has her own film studio, so she might have been licensing a bunch of shows, movies, or any documentaries that other people were working on. And I believe that is how we got to this movie that was supposed to be coming out. The movie is called The CO, and it was set to be released in a couple months. Now, after the Remy Network dropped a trailer for this movie, Ricky Rose saw the trailer. He immediately called his lawyer and said, "Hey, bruh, we gotta put a stop to this." The movie was initially titled The Biggest Boss, which everybody knows is the name that Ricky Rose calls himself. Ross is also claiming that the movie used unauthorized use of his music and also trade name, and he demands that the film not move forward in its current form. Rick Ross and his lawyer also argued that the movie could easily confuse fans into thinking that he's involved, citing social media reactions as evidence. The film follows a police officer who steals a drug dealer's life story and turns it into a rap career, a premise that has drawn attention because it mirrors Rick Ross's real life past. Now, Remy's lawyer did respond.
Hey, what's crazy is he used to say he wasn't even a correctional officer. Like, you get what I'm saying? And then also, he stole his name from the real Rick Ross, the original OG from Los Angeles. We all know his story. Shout out Rick Ross. I met him a couple times. Yeah, but think about that. Rick Ross took his name from somebody, won the court case, right? Probably paid off the judge, right? Let's be real. And now he's suing Remy Ma for a story about a cop that he said he wasn't, that turns his life into a rap career. That's crazy. That's crazy.
They said Remy was personally unaware of the concerns raised regarding The Biggest Boss and takes the matter seriously. She has maintained a personal and professional relationship with Rick Ross for more than 20 years and would never intentionally engage in any action that could harm his brand or cause offense. Now, it looks like Ricky Rose and Remy are working things out. Remy did reach out to Rick Ross to resolve it, and she's also taking steps to prevent similar issues from happening in the future. Now, of course, some people have speculated, was this done out of spite because Ricky Rose is cool with Clarissa Shields? However, from what it looks like, it doesn't seem that way. Now, I did reach out to the director of the movie for a statement. He told me, as the director, my goal was to tell a story about pressure, identity, and consequences of becoming something you're not. The film was created as an original dramatic work and is not a biographical statement about any individual. We respect all artists protecting their brand, and moving forward, The project is continuing under the title The CEO, which better reflects the core of the story. Then I asked him, hey man, did you use Rick Ross as an influence in any way when making this film? He says, when I write, I pull from a lot of personal experience, things I've lived, things I've seen over the years, industry situations that happened around me, things that happened to people I know, and real pressures I've watched people deal with in different spaces. A lot of what's inside this film is very personal to me creatively. Anybody who really knows me and watches this movie is going to catch moments that come from real emotions, real observations, and real life. I've watched a lot of artists on the come up trying to figure out their way, and I think they'll understand this film deeply because some people are truly willing to risk everything just to say they made it. So, as you guys can see, according to the film director John Godot, he's claiming this film was pulled from his own personal experiences. Now, here's what I think happened, you guys. Even though Remy is the owner of this network, she also has co-founders as well. On top of that, she's not the person overseeing every single movie, every single documentary that's going to be on her platform. This was a huge oversight by somebody on her team. The fact that she actually reached out directly to Rick Ross shows me there's no malicious intent with this movie. Quick shout out to DraftKings Pick 6.
I feel that. I think that yeah, I think for whatever reason, you gotta understand, like, that's probably not the first artist that's ever done that with their career. Worked for law enforcement and then turned into a rap star. Like, there's just you know what I mean? There's so many. I guess Rick Ross is the most public that we know, right? I can't think of anybody off the top. But yeah, man, I don't know. I haven't seen the script, so I don't know the movie. But Rick Ross seems to think it aligns exactly with his story. But, you know, yeah, let's finish this out and we'll figure it out.
Person criticizing Rick Ross for sending the cease and desist. Y'all remember when Rick Ross jumped into the Drake?
50 said, LOL, what happened here? LMAO.
Criticizing Rick Ross for sending the cease and desist. Y'all remember when Rick Ross jumped into the Drake beef with Kendrick Lamar, and his only reasoning was because Drake sent a cease and desist to French Montana?
I don't follow you because you sent the motherfucking cease and desist to French Montana. Was it so?
And Rick Ross also called Drake all types of names, including white boy.
White boy, white boy. Crody, Crody, Crody.
Well, it backfired. It is kind of crazy that Rick Ross would actually hit up his lawyers to send a cease and desist to Remy Ma when he could have just easily hit her up personally. And of course, there's also the elephant in the room. A lot of people are also saying, hey, Ricky Rose, don't you think for a second that we forgot that you actually...
I got that book right there. Yeah, he signed the book for me. I met him in Vegas at a convention. And bro signed the book. We took a photo and whatnot. Shout out Rick Ross, the real Freeway Rick Ross. You feel me? Crazy story, real talk. Was doing life in prison for the Contra. What was that? Costa Nostra. That you know his story. Anyway, you go check out his story though. It's really deep. He was doing life in prison for some stuff, the LA stuff, and then he came out. I mean, he found a loophole, right, while he was in prison. He reread his case, learned some law, and reread his case, and found out there was something wrong that the government did against him, and was able to be free, like within, I think he even said it took him like 9 years from that moment, it took him 9 years to process everything and get free. That's crazy, huh? Like, if you really think about that. But go check out Rick Ross's story, the real Freeway Rick Ross, the one that the rapper Rick Ross got his name from. You feel me? But yeah, let's finish it.
Your whole persona from the real Rick Ross. Freeway Rick Ross. So how can you be mad of somebody making a movie about you when you got your whole persona from somebody else?
Right.
And even though Ricky Rose has admitted to being a correctional officer, I personally thought that he was trying to get away from the label of being known as a CEO. So why are you now fighting so hard when somebody's trying to make a movie about it when you wanted nothing to do with it at a certain point in your life? Maybe I'm tripping. You guys get in the comments below. What do you guys make of Ricky Rose? Send it Remy
Alright, man. Shout out Cheeks for the clip. This Hip Hop Heist TV. We just reacting, giving our 2 cents about the topics of today. Yeah. Check out the merch down below, man. Help us out. Or, just hit that like and subscribe. Keep watching, man. We out. Peace.